Hello, everyone. Just kind of want to talk to you a little bit today about relaxing and not feeling guilty about it. I took a day off work today. I was just about burnt out as could be. Been pushing really hard. I work as a custodian in a community college, and I worked as a custodian in an elementary school for 19 years. And summers are hard if you are a custodian in the education system. Everybody thinks we get our summers off. We don't. We have to get out there and get after it. And I kind of want to share some stories with you today and some analogies, and I'm going to try to keep this straightforward and kind of think about what I'm saying and get to the point. But I kind of want to know in the comments below what you think about taking a personal day off of work, a sick day, a vacation day, when you are at your wit's end. This is something that I don't normally do, is take a day off work. So when I was growing up, my daddy was a construction worker in concrete work, and at 10 years old, I remember the first time going out on a job with him, and I worked from then on. I worked every summer, spring break. My dad would come home in the afternoons after I got home from school, and I'd get in the truck, and I would go help him finish concrete. So my work ethic is very strong, and I have a tendency to feel guilty relaxing. And it shouldn't be that way. I've had to get over that personally, and I've had to get over that with myself because that was just the way I was raised. My daddy was the type person that he would come get me out of bed in the mornings, beat on the wall. It was time to go to work. And I'd say, Daddy, I don't feel like going to work today. Now, he really didn't do this, but this is kind of how it felt. It'd be like, okay, throw up and prove it. If you're sick, well, if you threw up now, he'd say, you feel better now, let's go to work. In other words, you lived at my house, you worked. Now, I believe in working. I believe in working hard, and I believe in working for what you got. But I also believe you got to take care of yourself in the process. And that's the part that I've had problems with, is taking care of myself, because even when I'm trying to relax, my mind is busy thinking about things I need to do. I look around the house about things that needs to be done. And it's just hard to let that go. But I came home yesterday, and we have been shorthanded at work for a while, and we're cleaning the college dorms right now. We've set up for graduation and had to set up for a fundraiser, then tear that down and set up for another graduation. And being in my 50s, I don't recruit as fast as I used to, and picking up heavy stuff and everything, and I have arthritis and it hurts. And I just decided, you know what? I feel very fatigued and very tired. Oh, on top of that, we drove 25 miles away last night to go listen to my daughter at St. College's choir and fighting tornado warnings and thunderstorms and different things. Trying to get home last night, we had to pull over a few times, so it was late getting home on top of that. So it felt good to sleep to about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. Get up, fry some bacon and fry some eggs, and fix a cup of coffee. And just sit here in a quiet house and enjoy the peace and quiet, and do some reflecting, Bible reading, and just doing some reflecting in life. You know, people sometimes make us feel guilty about things that they want us to do or they think we should be doing, and they're opinionated about things, and they often push their opinions upon us. And if you have a people-pleasing personality, you will work. Let me put it this way: you will wear yourself out in that. And you know, just because we were raised a certain way doesn't mean that we have to continue to carry out things that maybe our parents expected out of us. Now, I'm not talking about your good moral things that you were taught, and your parents did the best that they could in their life, or whoever raised you did the best they could. But sometimes when you get older and you step back and you realize, you think, you know what, that was pretty tough things that were expected out of me and put on me because that's the way that they think things are to be. And when you become an adult of your own, you feel guilty not continue to do those things because it's been ingrained in you. But can I tell you something from my experience? It's okay that if something that is hard for you and you have been doing something your whole life just because you felt like it was expected of you, and it goes against what you're feeling, give it a try to change things up a little bit. And in what I'm doing today, taking a day off, I'm going back to work, tomorrow and Friday. I've got a side job to do Saturday, so I'm going to be working all day Saturday. I got church coming up Sunday. Then we hit everything again next Monday. We'll get back at it. But you can find yourself just going and going and going and going, and you're not enjoying your life. I get the feeling right here, kind of in this part of my body, like my breath is not there. I just feel totally exhausted. And we got to take care of ourselves. I have watched many times older people that have, pushed themselves their whole life. And people will tell you sometimes you just need to push through it. Well, sometimes you can't push anymore. You're pushing, but your attitude's getting bad. I realize that when I'm pushing, I get a little mouthy and I get frustrated and I get ill quicker. And if I don't take the time to stop and relax and take some time for myself and not feel guilty about that, to realize that it's okay. Now, I don't know whether anybody else out there can relate to this or not. We look at different generations and, my generation say, well, they're just lazy. Those people are lazy. Well, yeah, they are some lazy people out there that want a handout and want something for nothing. But there's a lot of us out there that are hardworking people. We work overtime and we put in extra jobs and we do extra things just to make ends meet or put some distance between the bills and things we have in life, and be able to take a vacation and enjoy it and not have to worry about the bills and everything because we have worked hard to be able to enjoy what we're doing. And some of us live from paycheck to paycheck. I'm a paycheck to paycheck type person. I've got 3 kids and it just takes a lot out of me. And there's a lot of y'all out there that's the same way. Life has just dealt you some things and you just have not been able to get ahead, and we work hard. But sometimes that working harder, trying to get ahead, it just wears us completely out. And we have to draw a line in the sand and say, well, today is the day, or these next couple of days, I have got to make myself slow down. I have got to slow down. I'm going to share something. I don't think I've shared it on this channel before. But there was a story, and I can't get it completely right, but I can maybe give an analogy here that will get the point across. Let me think about it a minute. The story kind of goes like this. There was this older gentleman. He was very wise. And he was a hardworking man. And he worked all the time. Worked a lot. Well, there was this younger gentleman that challenged this older man, and they was going to chop wood. And this young man challenged this old man. He said, "Oh man, I bet I can chop more wood than you can in a day, in an 8-hour day than you can, because I'm muscular, I'm strong, and I'm younger than you, so I bet I can chop more wood than you." Well, the old man just thought to himself, he wasn't trying to prove anything to this young man, but he knew he had an opportunity to take this young man to school on something, teach him something about life. So the old man said, "Okay, young man, I'll take your challenge, and we'll just see in an 8-hour shift who can chop the most wood." So they started this challenge, and 8 hours later they finished, and the old man had his stack of wood, and the young man had his stack of wood. Well, the young man said, "I don't understand something. Your stack of wood is bigger than mine. And I worked all day. I didn't take a break whatsoever. I worked all day long. But I seen you over there sitting under the shade tree, leaned up against the shade tree, and you were taking breaks. You took several breaks throughout the day. But how did you chop more wood than I did? The young man just kind of said, son, while I was taking breaks, I was sharpening my axe. And every time I started back to work, I had a sharp axe. So that gave me the ability to chop more wood. You see, the young man worked the whole 8-hour shift without taking a break, but he never sharpened his axe. When we take days like I'm taking today off work, when we take days today, we are sharpening our axe in life. We're taking care of ourselves. Because if we are giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and we don't do anything to take care of ourselves, we have nothing to give to other people. Our axe is not sharp. So that is my thoughts on taking care of yourself, taking time off, recuperating, resting. And I'm talking about resting. Because a lot of times people go on vacations and their vacation is so packed with activities and things to do throughout that whole trip. They're tired when they get home than they was when they left. They did not vacate. They didn't take a day where they slept all day and they rested all day and they enjoyed a good meal, went out and they came back and they went back to bed and they relaxed. They didn't take a day where they sat in a chair all day and enjoyed a cup of coffee. They were hitting the amusement parks hard. They were going from every museum to this activity, from this activity. I took a trip to Disney World with my family several years ago, and enjoyed it thoroughly. But we wanted to get our money's worth while we were there, and we did. We went from can to can. We had extended hour park passes. So we were rolling back into our room about 1:30 in the morning, getting back up at 6 o'clock and hitting it again. We did that for several days straight. And I'm going to tell you, I was one whooped puppy when we got home. I won't ever forget when I was driving home, I looked over at my wife. I said, we've got to find a room. I thought we could drive straight home, but I can't drive anymore. Can you drive? She said, absolutely not. So we had to find a room and get some rest so we could just get home. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to sharpen your axe. It's just something to think about. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. If you like this kind of content, I'm going to leave a link in the description below how you can support this channel. And have a great day. And go relax and enjoy a cup of coffee.